Okay, today we're going to talk about compound interest. So with the simple interest, we were assuming that we pocket the interest when we receive it. In a standard bank account, any interest we earned is automatically added to our balance, and we earn interest on that interest in the future years. Yeah, it's just like you're rolling a snowball. The snowball will getting bigger and bigger. So the reinvestment of interest is called compounding. Just think about the snowball effect. It's just getting bigger and bigger. So suppose that we deposit 1,000 in a bank account offering 3% interest and compound monthly. How will our money grow? That's really interesting. So think about that. First of all, we need to think about what is compound monthly means. So that means you are going to So each month you're going to receive the interest, and the interest that you receive is going to put it back into your account, but become your new principal. So that means your principal is getting bigger and bigger. So now let's take a look. So what will be the interest rate? We know that the APR, by what we learned in the previous class, in the previous video, is 3%. Since you compound monthly, there are 12 months in a year. So that means which payment you're going to receive what? What's the interest? You use 3% divided by 12. Okay, let me use my calculator for that. So you will receive a 0.25% per payment, which means if you deposit 1,000 in a bank and then on the first of the month, so at the end, at the 13th of the month, you will receive 0.25% times 1,000. That's how much interest you're going to get. Okay, so how will your money grow? So now I'm going to make a chart about that. In the first month, your starting balance is you put in 1,000, right? So how much interest you earned after first month? You're going to get what? 1,000 times 0.25%, which is 0.0025. So I would use 1,000 times 0.0025. You will earn $2.5. So what's your ending balance after first month? You should have the starting balance add the interest, which is $1,002 and 50 cents. Okay. So now I want these to be thicker. Now after the first month, now the beginning of the second month. So the beginning of second month, what's your starting balance? It's no longer 1,000, right? Because you reinvest it with the interest that you earn from the first month. So you will have what? $1,002.50. You invest that amount and use that amount to earn the interest. Oh, I think this is too thick. So the interest you're going to earn would be what? Again, we round it up, you will get $2.50. So the ending balance would be the starting amount from the second month and then adding to the what? To the interest that you earn from the second month. So you will totally get $1,005 and 0.1. I think here's 1. Okay, now the next one. After the third month, what's your starting balance? So your starting balance will become, I'm going to use it back to this one. Your starting balance should be what? $1,005.01. And then we use that as to earn the interest. So we use $1,005.01 to times the monthly interest. So you will get $2.51. And then the ending balance should be what? You use $100, $1,000, and $5 at $2.51. Oh, 0.2. So we keep doing the same thing. Again, every time we will use whatever the ending balance from the last month as our starting balance for our new month. So I'm going to just write this very quick because I did the calculation. That's how to grow the monthly interest. I'm going to pause the video and fill up all the total 12 months. Okay, I just done computing all of the monthly payment. So here is the chart. So now if you take a look, you might notice that, hey, the interest we earned each month starting with $2.50, and then at the end each month you're going to earn $2.57. The interest earns bigger and bigger. Why is that? That is because our starting balance is getting bigger and bigger. So that's why our monthly interest payment getting bigger and bigger. So now how do we find the equation to represent the principal, which is P sub n, represent the amount of money that after n month, then we could write with cursive equations. So here is how we are going to do that. So P sub 0, which is the starting amount that we have, is 1,000, right? So each month, if you notice what happens in here. So the interest we earned is what? Our P sub 0 times the rate, right? And then the second year, let's say the total balance, P sub 1 is going to equal to P sub 0, the starting balance, and then plus what we learned. And then for the second month, we have what? Our starting balance is become P sub 1, right? Which is what we earned from the first month. So we have P sub 1 times R. So our ending balance, I would say P sub 2, because the second month, how much we earned from the second month is equals to P sub 1 plus P sub 1 times R. That's the interest, that's the starting balance. Okay, if we generalize it, we will get this formula, P sub n, which is the new month that we got, is usually come from the previous month, which is n minus 1, plus the interest that we earn from the previous month times R, because the rate is the same. So when we pull out the common interest, we have P sub n minus 1 equals to 1 plus R. In our specific case, our R is equals to 1 plus 0, 0, 0, 2, 5. Okay. So now how can we write it more general? How do we get P sub n minus 1? So if you think about it, P sub n minus 1 is from the previous, which is P sub n minus 2 times 1 plus 0.0025. This part equals that. And now we still need to times the interest rate. Now let me reorganize it. so that you have p sub n minus 2 equals to 1 plus 0, 0, 0, 25 to the square. We reorganize it. So in more general, how can we write it starting with p sub 0? In our case, that means how many times we did the calculate. You should get 12 months. 2 times that. Okay. So now we can conclude that observing the pattern, we could conclude that the ending month, after n month, we will get what? The principal, which is 1,000, times 1 plus the monthly interest rate times 12 months. Okay, to be more general, the compound interest formula is going to look like this. P sub n, which is our balance, the ending balance, or you can use A just like the last amount. It's just a letters. Remember that this is the ending amount after n years. So P sub 0 would be our starting amount, which is also principal. The rate should be the APR, which is the annual percentage rate. Again, that is usually in a decimal form. So K is the compound frequencies. So the number that you're going to compound periods in a year. So for example, if you say, hey, compound, I'm going to write it in here with a different colors pen. If you say, hey, I'm going to compound monthly. So how many months in a year? So you have a 12 month in a year. So K is going to equal to 12. And then if you say compound quarterly, so K, how many quarter in a year? 4 quarters in a year. So that means you're going to compound 4 times in a year. And then if I say I'm going to compound semi-annually, so that means you're going to compound it twice a year. If I say compound daily, how many days in a year? So we will consider we have 365 days in a year. So that is what K is. How do you find K? So N is how many years, the number of years. Okay, as long as we have the formula, we just need to plug in numbers after we identify it. Okay, so a certificate deposit is a saving instrument that many banks offer. It usually gives a higher interest rate, but you cannot access your investment for a specified length of time. So suppose you deposit 3,000 in a certificate of deposit, paying 6% interest rate, compound monthly. How much will you have account after 20 years? So let's write down the formula. We have Pn equals to P sub 0, 1 plus R over K, and then M times K. So now let's identify which one is which. So you deposit 3,000. That means what? The principal, P sub 0 equals to 3,000 Okay. Paying 6% interest rate. So that gives you what? The rate equals to 0.006. And then compound monthly. Monthly, compound monthly. So that means our K equals to 12. That means you are going to getting paid 12 times in a year. You compound 12 times in a year. So how many will you have in the amount in the account after 20 years? So that means the N, sometimes they use T, N or T. It depends on which textbook, but they're the same. So the N is equals to 20, which is the time. Okay, we just need to plug in the number into the formula. So with Pn equals to 3,000 times 1 plus 0.006 over 12, and then M times K. M is 20 times K, 12. And then you're going to use a calculator to calculate that. So you will get 9,913 and 61 cents. Okay. So you might end up to get a really long decimal. You need to round this. You need to round your answer to the nearest hundredth. Why is that? Because in the bank, you think about in the bank, what's the smallest unit they can pay you? Smallest currency. It would be penny, right? So that means it makes sense if we round the answer to the nearest pennies. Okay, so second example is you know that you will need 14,000 for your children's education in 18 years. If your account earns 4% compounded quarterly, how much will you need to deposit now to reach your goal? So what do they ask? So they ask you how much you need to deposit. That means we are looking for the principal. Again, I'm going to write down the formula. P sub m equals to P sub 0, 1 plus r over k n to the k. And now let's see which one is which. So you will need 40,000. So that means our total amount I want to get at the end would be 14,000. And then in 18 years. So that means the time is going to be 18 years. And then you're going to earn 4%. So that means the rate equals to 0.004. And compound quarterly. That means you're going to compound 4 times in a year. So K is equal to 4. Now we plug this in. We have 14,000 equals to P sub 0, 1 plus 0.04 over 4 to the 4 times 18. So how do we solve that? So first of all, you need to calculate with a calculator to calculate, this part equals what? So this part is going to equals to, use a calculator, you use, I think you will know how to use a calculator, I'm not going to say in here, 2.0427 equals to P sub 0. And then you divide it by 2.0472 on both sides. So that you will get our P sub 0, which is our principal, would be 19,539 and 84 cents. So that means in order to get 14,000 after 18 years, you need to deposit $19,539 and 84 cents now to have 14,000 in 18 years. Okay, so that's it for today. Let me know if you have other questions.